Isthmus. Holding it here this long is actually, my hand is getting hot.
Could see where I'm going. These are doweled. These are 1/4 inch dowels drilled through and hammered in place. Now what doweling does is it takes these layers right here, or it takes these layers and gives them something to resist when being spread this direction. Now already it gives plenty of resistance when you hold it like this. So they're not there to keep it from moving or to keep it from taking stress this way or that way. They're literally there to keep it from being pried apart. So when you take pressure into it and you start bending it in these directions, they will help keep it together. It's a very small detail that has a huge impact, and I dowel just about everything. This will keep it much stronger for much longer than not doing it. All right, there it is, all sanded, less shiny, and ready to go. Partner number 2 is just off camera frame. So what I'm going to do now is take this quick seal, and I'm going to apply it right in these grooves across here, just to give it a finish so that it is much more smooth. Now to focus on the workstation. Messy, messy, messy workstation. Cool. Okay, that'll dry. Take about 24 hours to dry. And it'll be ready to go. Are you going to focus? I'll focus on that. There you go. Doesn't look the greatest, but it's supposed to look less like layers, like one conjoined piece. And that'll do it. Oh, and then I put some in there to make it not a hard edge. So let's show one more thing here. Now, I glued with this stuff, the little paper that gave me my guides, and then I washed them off, and they came off just fine. Except here. This was not the one that was glued. This is the one that I tested with Super 77. I wanted to see how it worked. And it left me with this. It sands off barely. It's a fight. So not doing that again. That glue stick works much better. So yeah, next step. There it is right there. That's the extra distance. Trimmed up, curved up. 1, 2. Silicone mat. It's pretty close. I can't hold it there, but I've got my choice. Mandelbar mustache, or I guess a Whitebeard prototype. This is a small, inexpensive 30-watt soldering iron. This is foam. When they meet, things melt. That's what we're going to do now. As you can see, I have drawn the patterns that I am going to melt onto here. It's on both of them. They're both ready to go. It's adding to my collection of patterns for this. And now it's stuck under there. There we go. That's later. Okay, so we're now at the point where I am going to take this to this, and I'm nervous because this is my first time taking this to this. Stinks. Okay, so I started giving it some real soft presses on there, and it wasn't doing anything. So I found a good medium. Okay. Oops. All right, so you may notice me holding this soldering iron in 2 hands. That's to keep it stable. You ever seen a surgery show? They start cutting open flesh. This is almost exactly what this feels like. I do a little bit and it just splits open. It leaves these little dinglies on there. It's a little freaky. Okay. All right. So this spot, or these spots right here, are why I haven't put the 3rd scale on. It's going to go there, but it rests. I have it marked on here. It rests right there, so I don't want to risk hitting this with the tip of this and ruining it permanently. So that is to go on after I finish this. Now, one more thing is on the actual model, this is recessed. This is completely carved out. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know how to do that with this. I can take a knife and shave it away, but that requires an extremely sharp knife. It can be done. It is something I'm tempted to do, but it's going to have a permanent texture. And that permanent texture will be, it'll be rough. I don't like it. Alternatively, but I might be able to sand that. You know, a soldering iron is so hot, and you can see it work the space around it because it's so hot, but yet this foam is not melting nearly as fast as I thought it would. That would be a lot more delicate, and it would shrink and cause problems. Another problem I'm having is that that tip is not tight enough, so it's a little wobbly. Not certain if it got too hot or what right there. I probably got that area too hot. Yeah, it's pretty hot. So once I left this on there long enough, it got so hot that it melted quickly. Don't want that. Not the result I wanted. I'm duplicating that problem. I don't feel like I'm doing anything differently. Maybe it's because I tightened it down. Now it's able to make fuller contact with the tip. Scorching the table. So that's a possibility. So there's only 30 watts, it grows, or it increases in heat intensity slowly. Not like, say, a higher wattage soldering iron that'll get hot fast. This is a low wattage. So it'll get to the temperature, it just takes a little while. More issues with this short cord. It's the only complaint about this soldering iron. If I go get my other soldering iron, it's got a short cord too. So the switching is not going to be helpful right now. I am not going fast enough, apparently. Soldering iron like this has constant heat. So it's not like kicking in and heating its rod up, causing that. It's just speed. Look what it's doing to the... That's the barge cement. Turning it brown is neat. Also an interesting effect. If I do it on purpose. Yep. Oh, it didn't take much heat at all. Made that one brown. Here's a little spot right here. It's very light. Just barely touch it and run it over. Oh, and it's so dark. Take that as a lower melting point than the surrounding foam. Which can also be dangerous. So that means that it can combust or melt, cause other problems, and give out fumes. That'll probably give you headaches, so be careful. Okay. Unplug it, retire it. And you just worked with me on something brand new. That's the final result. It's pretty good. Have a couple of mistakes on the other one. There is a definite progression of styles and attempts on there. So, you know, that's what I wanted. I got this on, well, got that on that side. This is the first side, second side, third side, fourth side. You can definitely tell an improvement by the fourth side. That is wonderful. Second side was good. Number 4 was good. And once it's cooled, I'll be able to go ahead and put this on. This is number 2, right? Yeah, number 2. Which is going to go right here. I'll put that on, and that'll conclude assembling these, and we should be ready for painting. After I sand this, of course. Yeah. Cool. Okay, here's the super slow flyby, of the completely assembled pieces for the Chitauri Scepter on Loki's Avengers piece. Blades look nice. I love it. So you know that there's going to be a crystal piece there, and I have right there Luminlight and Easy Cast. I'm going to try epoxy and Luminlight. That's another story. So, okay. I'm going to start sealing all this. These are sealed because I heat rolled these, and these are not sealed. You can see this is a little smoother than this is. So I'm going to heat seal it. I might take a torch to this to get it smoother. I already went over it with 100 grit sandpaper, and though it got rid of a lot of the schmutz that's on there, a lot of it still remains. So take a look at it. Yeah. That's why I waited to put that on until after I engraved that. So that'll be a painting challenge. I like the way it looks. One of the neater features on here, since I'm doing this one hand, is that this right here, these are actually glued to it. And this is where the Infinity Stone holder rests. Boom. 2 of them. For a client, for a giveaway. Yeah, 2 of them. I'm taking admiring shots for future reference, just to gawk at it. Because I tell you, it looks good. I love looking at my nearly completed pieces. Okay. Welcome to the pseudo paint setup. This Super 77 brand new can. Takes about 10 minutes to set once you spray it, give or take. Now I don't want it getting on this, so I put this brown paper out here, and I'm only going to work on this side. Yeah. Big enough? Probably. Okay. Now you wait 10 minutes. Almost out. Brand new. It's sputtering. Plasti dip is very, 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 very forgiving. So if I get too much on one area, it's actually going to dry really thin, and I can go back over it. That Super 77 sputter has made some permanent marks on there. That'll actually be covered when I start to weather it. It's about enough playing around. This guy is dead. Ah, the late night once over. It's a new couch there. I'm just getting rid of all kinds of junk. All right, so that's the once over. I'm gonna have to do that. The first layer is going to be really thick. I wanted to get as much coverage on the Super 77 as possible, so that it all sits together. The Super 77 will actually bond with the dried Plasti dip, creating a very good secure hold. Sometimes with foam and Plasti dip, I have the problem where if you find just the right spot, you can pull the Plasti dip off and it starts to peel off. Kind of like glue on the skin does. Not good. You don't want that to happen. I'm adjusting my arm because I'm wearing a coat. So the Super 77 creates an adhesive layer between the Plasti dip and the foam, which is much stronger than it by itself. So right now we're waiting to see how this dries. Plasti dip dries pretty fast. Plasti dip should dry within 10 minutes. So while I'm gabbing, it's drying, and then I'm going to give it a tack test, and I'm going to repeat. I want 2 layers. 2 layers and it'll be good. And yes, it's cold enough outside that I did give my paint cans a bath before I started using them, because it's cold. It's winter. I'm wearing a coat. All right, I'll finish this. I'll do it off camera, and then we'll get back to it. All right, so that's done. On to a new part, because, well, let's be honest with each other. Though this is set well enough, it's a little tacky, and it will continue to set. Might get a third coat. I think I'll wait on the third coat until the last step. So tomorrow morning, flip side 2. It's got the primer included on it. So it's a paint primer one. Also works on plastics. It's not fusion color. The gold is a little muted, as you can see here. It's not robustly great and reflective, but it'll serve its purpose. This will end up having like 4 layers on it. Not of this paint. 4 total color layers to make it look more gold-like. All of them will be acrylics or rubber-based paints, latex-based paints like this. No enamels, because enamels dry hard.
that was quick. That was also first coat. I need at least 2 coats on this, and then I have to flip it over. Cool. A little bit of paint on my fingers, not much. And you also got a quick lesson in what happens if you overspray. Wipe, blot. And that will clean up the run before it's a run. Okay, so going over it real quickly and examining it. The color saturation is mostly good. There's still some spots left that need a once over, but here's the reason why I use the gray. You have your options with Plasti Dip. Red, white, black, gray. I think those are primarily the ones that you can get. The reason why I do gray, like most primer colors, is great because it's neutral, it's not too dark, and it's not too light. If I wanted this gold to really pop and be shiny, I would start with flat black. If I wanted this gold to be dull and muted, did I say flat black or gloss black? Gloss black for bright, smooth, shiny gold. Flat black for any other application, doesn't matter. Primers are designed to allow the paint to absorb into it, slightly porous in finish. So you can also duplicate that by sanding a surface. So what you pick is more important on the texture of material than it is on the color of material. Gray is muted, so anything that comes through, there are some spots on here that do come through. They don't look like unpainted spots. They look like depth. It's not too dark so that it overpowers the gold, and it's not too light where it has the opposite effect. It's just right where if I have a mistake, it's going to be very unnoticeable. And I'll do a pan through it real quick, and you'll see some indiscrepancies, but they'll look proper. All right, so indiscrepancies like, where's my finger? Right there, where the shadow is, it's gray. It's kind of the effect that you want. Oh, I'm going to have to go over that. But that's kind of the effect that you want in deep areas. That creates a shadow tone, and that is actually part of the finished product. However, the rest of this takes on a very uniform shape. And in here, it's a little dark. That's fine. That's what I want. Now, gray is not the color of a depth color that I want. I actually want to use orange, burnt umbers, and things like that. So this is only one step of many. Okay, now that we've gone over that, cat paw prints on my old car. So now that we've gone over that, the next step is to allow this to cure. It's gonna have to cure overnight because I don't like this paint, this particular paint. It has a very long cure time. Because of a primer paint combo and most of those that bond with plastic, it needs time to cure, and if you don't give it that, it'll remain tacky. You touch it, you'll put fingerprints on it, and that could take days, especially in this cold weather. I'm going to give it until tomorrow morning to cure out here, and then I'm going to bring it inside to cure in the warm air, and I'll pass a heat gun over it every hour. And it's a little tedious, but until this glue is dry, until this paint is dry, I can't put it on a surface to continue painting it. So it's kind of self-defeating, because what'll happen is I'll have it on the surface and then I'll pull it up and the paint will start to bond with whatever's underneath it. There is a go-around. If you're in a hurry and your paint is still a little tacky, it's going to do that. You put paper down there, it's going to bond to it. It's going to ruin it. Fabric, paper, wood, doesn't matter. Even smooth countertops will do it, except cling wrap. Cling wrap doesn't bond to paint very well at all. So you put a layer of cling wrap down, and then you put your painted object on top of it. Yes, it can still stick, especially these plastic bonding paints. Yes, it could still give you problems, but it is less of a problem than paper, which is naturally porous, which will try to intentionally suck it in. So there's your options. Use cling wrap. on your surface, if your paint is, you don't have enough time to let it cure, you at least need to let it cure for an hour before you put it on any surface. And this paint apparatus here that I have suspends it so it touches nothing. You probably saw that. It's great. It is a silly, ridiculous, easy design. I've been using, it's like the first thing that I made. And I've been using it ever since I started painting. Now, okay, so the next step is to cure. I have nothing to do. This is weird. I've been hitting this so hard for a week straight to get to this point. All that cutting, gluing, and bonding to do nothing? Okay.